Good morning, students. Here is the next heading, the First World War and the Russian Empire. Here I will give you the information about the impact of First World War on Russia. You know, children, in 1914 the First World War broke out between two European alliances, that is Germany, Austria and Turkey. They're in one side, they're called Central Power, and France, Britain and Russia, and later Italy and Romania also joined. They are called Allied Power. Each country had a global empire on their own ways, and the war was fought outside Europe as well as in Europe. This was the First World War, and this had brought a great impact on Russia as well as on the other countries. Our India also, it was a great part and had an impact on India as well. So let us analyze the political impact. In Russia, the war initially popular. It was very popular initially, and people rallied around Tsar Nicholas II. As the war continued, though, Tsar refused to consult the main parties in the Duma. What is Duma? Already I have told. Duma is the consultative parliament, and due to this First World War, related to this World War, Tsar did not consult with Duma or the people of this parliament. Therefore, he did not get the support of these people. And later anti-German sentiments ran very high because of Rasputin and Tsarina Alexandra's relations. Tsarina Alexandra, she was the wife of Tsar, but she was the German origin. Whereas Rasputin, he was an advisor, poor advisor, and also a holy man. Why people killed him? There is a reason behind it. Let us analyze. Rasputin was a strange figure and also a holy man who had become very close to the imperial family. He had a very good influence over Tsarina and was widely believed to have mystical power that would help the ill Tsarevich in his fight against illness. With the Tsar away though, when he was away from the empire, Rasputin's excesses became a major focus of attention. His influence on the royal family was viewed with suspicion by many people, those who were the supporter of Tsar. In 1916, supporters of Tsar murdered Rasputin. This was the reason behind it. Therefore, this was the role of Tsar in this First World War. So anti-German sentiments was ran high, as can be seen in the renaming of St. Petersburg. It was a German name and later it was called as Petrograd. Tsarina Alexander's German origin and poor advisor, that is already told about Rasputin, how he was killed by the supporter of the Tsar. Especially he was a holy man and made an autocracy unpopular. This was the role of Tsar, already have discussed. Now let us understand the role of Rasputin and Alexandria. That also I have discussed. I will repeat it once again. In Russia, the war was initially very popular and people rallied around Tsar Nicholas II. As the war continued, though, the Tsar refused to consult the main parties in the Duma and he himself wanted to remain in the army. He got the support very less from Duma and anti-German sentiments ran high. Later, this problem arose in Russia and Tsar was unpopular. Now let us analyze the military problems. The First World War on the Eastern Front means First World War from Russia was fought from both sides, Eastern and Western Front. The First World War on the Eastern Front differed from that on the Western Front. In the West, armies fought from the trenches which were stretched along eastern France. So from France side, from the trenches that were spread in the France, from that side, Russian armies they fought in this war. In the east, armies moved a good deal and fought battles leaving large casualties. Okay. Defeats were shocking and demoralizing. Russia's armies lost very badly in Germany and Austria between 1914 and 1916. Remember, defeats were very shocking and demoralizing. Russia's armies lost badly in Germany and Russia between 1914 and 1916. There were over 7 million casualties by 1970s as they retreated. Retreated means when they came back, they were returning back, the Russian army destroyed crops and buildings to prevent the enemy from being able to live off the land. It was a very foolish job Russian army did, because they themselves only burnt the land or the crop, destroyed the crop, and also burnt the buildings just to prevent the armies to get into the Russia. The destruction of crops and buildings led to, it was a great impact, it brought a great impact on Russia, and 3 million refugees this led to 3 million refugees in Russia. This is called the economic and social cost also. The situation discredited the government and the Tsar. Soldiers did not wish to fight such a war. It was a huge destruction for Russia. On the other hand, if you see the economic part of how it brought the economic impact, the war also had a severe impact on industry. So industry related to economy. I have already told the social cost. The war also had a severe impact on industry. Russia's own industries were few in number and the country was cut off from other suppliers of industrial goods by German control of Baltic Sea. Baltic Sea means it was under the control now German, and through that Baltic Sea route Russia was doing the trade, but unfortunately Russia could not do it, and the suppliers also of industrial goods also got affected because Germany blockaded the sea route of Baltic Sea. So industrial equipment disintegrated more rapidly in Russia than elsewhere in Europe. By 1916, railway lines began to break down. Able-bodied men were also called up to the war. For the people in the cities, bread and flour became very scarce, and by the winter of 1916, riots at bread shops were common. As a result, there were labor shortages and small workshops producing essentials were also shut down. Large supplies of grain were sent to feed the army, and that is the reason why the cities faced the bread and flour scarce. By the winter of 1916, riots at bread shops were very common. So in this way, Russia was badly affected due to this First World War.